Drake. What are you doing? Drake is spiraling. I hate everything he's doing right now. And that's coming from a Drake fan. I'm way overstimulated and disappointed at this approach. It's chaotic. It makes no sense. It reeks of your inability to take a step away and deal with a tough loss. Like, it reminds me of like when you lose in Madden and you just refuse to get off the sticks. We done 21-0'd you. You want another possession. We give you the possession and you start doing this housekeeping nose with Lotto. In this video, we're gonna dive into Drake's chaotic approach and why he's destroying his own redemption arc, bro. Let's get into it. So the first thing that I think we have to understand is, how did Drake respond to a loss before? Someone who's a seasoned vet when it comes to beef with rappers. When he lost to Pusha, one that people don't even consider debatable, he was able to bounce back almost immediately. And think about that. It was more like a knockout punch that happened with Drake, because this is kind of where it became popular to have huge groundbreaking reveals as something that's gonna win you the battle. This wasn't just a battle that where he was just out rapped by Pusha T. I think Pusha T was willing to go further than anybody else was willing to go, and with that basically gets knocked out with this story of Adidon. Number one, it had his blackface picture as the artwork. Then he reveals, oops, this man is a deadbeat. You had to then start posting that you're doing things with Adonis. This is not something where you can continue to have him in the background, because Drake is not able to deal with the pressure of just knowing that he's a good father. He has to show you. So he's able to then be a father publicly. And I think another thing that was kind of off-putting about Pusha T's diss track was the fact that he had that scathing bar about OVO 40, basically saying he hunched over, how much time he got, tick, tick, tick.
Part that hit me the most, which is like, you know, wishing like that my friend that has an illness like dies. Like, that shit to me is just not really wavy. Like, there's a point where you're gonna wanna stop rapping. I'm sure I could say something about, you know, your lovely lady, or, you know, a child or a family member, and you're just gonna wanna not really rap anymore.
Yeah. The reason why he backed out of that battle being mainly because he went farther and crossed lines that even in battle rap, you're not necessarily supposed to cross. And so he kind of gave Drake an out. Drake didn't have to come with a response. He didn't have to try to win that battle. To him, that was an acceptable L to take, because that was a loss you took to someone who was continuously exposing crazy information. When they say, when you go low, I go to hell, bro, that man went and was sitting next to Lucifer, bro. That loss, I felt like, was a lot different than what happened with Kendrick. Kendrick is a much bigger artist. The story of Adidon was not leading the Billboard charts for 2 straight months, like Not Like Us was. To me, the loss to Kendrick was like a sustained beating, like watching Errol Spence get beat down round after round by Terrence Crawford. Not Like Us was on the charts for 2 straight months. Think about having someone's favorite song be you being called a PDF file for 2 months straight. That's their favorite song to hear on the radio, including your friend LeBron James, by the way, that you have tatted on you as a grown man, by the way. That's a much different loss. When we look at his response to Pusha T, him trying to do that now after the battle with Kendrick, it makes no sense, because there are certain things that he attacked and insecurities that Kendrick touched on that you kind of have to answer to, bro. And if you're not going to answer to it, at least take enough time away to where people are going to say, okay, maybe it wasn't that deep. There hasn't been any new evidence since then. But if you're going to be posting, especially while Not Like Us was literally still #1 on the charts, then you gotta make sure you're not just throwing out throwaway music. Nobody wanna hear that. This loss was different, and it deserved a different response afterwards. Now we get into why this is. Why is Drake not only not taking a break, but he's now dropping and posting every day? It seemed like it's something new coming from Drake. But that's because Drake's career has been a whirlwind of releases. And if you've been following him closely, you know that that man doesn't take a breath. Just in the past 3 years, he dropped 5 albums, each spaced barely a few months apart. Look at Certified Lover Boy, dropped September 2021. Then Honestly Nevermind, June 2022. Then Her Loss, November 2022. Then For All the Dogs, October 2023. And honestly, after that For All the Dogs dropped, he said he wanted to take a break from rap. He said he had stomach issues, yada yada, but obviously the response to For All the Dogs initially was bad.
This is like Yachty rapping. This is like he rapping for the children. And that's my, yo dog, I had to look up how old this was when I finished listening to the album. You are 36. Your birthday is in 20 days. I Googled that too. You will be 37 years old. Get the away from some of these younger niggas and stop these 25-year-olds.
So you're beefing with Joe Budden because he didn't like your album. Now he forces you back into the booth when you didn't want to be in there because your stomach was hurting. So now you're forced to release more music. So he can't stay away. And I think the thing is, one of the biggest criticisms from Drake is someone of his stature as an artist has relatively uninspired music. It's not like Drake is pulling a Kanye where he's trying to push his sound, or even Travis Scott trying to push his sound to a new level. Drake oftentimes just tries to keep the pace. Now you find yourself oversaturating the market because you never were able to take that break that you planned and you wanted to have. Now we're seeing cryptic posts on your Instagram and 100 gigs, which is completely overstimulating the casual fan. The casual fan probably never even typed in the web address. People are relying on blog posts to kind of pick and choose different clips and repost them. And you may have like super fans of Drake who go and they want to check out everything in 100 gigs. But truth is, it's just too much. You're losing the luster on your drops now because none of them have a purpose. They don't have no impact. He takes a few jabs, you know, No Face, and I think the one with Thug, like those are good drops. But then you got songs like Housekeeping Knows and Blue, Green, Red, and then you got that song you dropped with Sexy Red, BBL Drizzy, and then you got this house music. Like I'm confused. I'm overstimulated, bro. You're not letting anything digest. This is from a fan of Drake's. It's hard for me to even look at the 3-pack now, because I know it's a bunch of throwaway music. And that's kind of the thing with leak culture. The fan is able to pick and choose of what we want to listen to and what we don't. Most people want to hear planned, thought out music that's released officially. Leaks, I mean, look, I love a leak. Gunna got some of the best leaks in the game. But am I gonna check out every single Gunna leak? No, because at the end of the day, I know some of those drops is like throwaway drop. Think about, I'm making some oatmeal and I'm just continuing to add water, bruh. Housekeeping Knows, Blue, Green, Red, you're adding water. And it's like nothing is landing. It's just a bunch of soggy ass oatmeal is what it is. After thinking about this for a long time, I can confidently say that silence would 100% have been the best way for Drake to handle this loss. Narratives that were set out about you being a PDF file, you being a terrible father, all the little attacks that he had on your character, a lot of that kind of goes by the wayside when people just miss you. One of the things that helped Travis Scott come back from the Astroworld tragedy was taking those 2 years off, letting the narrative settle down, let some of those court cases run their course, you know, get them worked out. Now I can come back. Now I can put these teasers out here and boom, you got Utopia sells like 400+ K first week. Travis Scott's situation was much more intense and more serious because this is people who actually lost their lives. But I think it's a good representation of the impact silence can have. Silence speaks louder than words. especially after one of the biggest rap battles in history. Absence would create that curiosity. Absence creates that anticipation. Absence creates opportunity. It sets the stage. When is Drake gonna drop? What is he gonna say? What are we gonna get? We don't know, but we know when we see something, it's gonna be crazy. You let that tension build. Drop a few Easter eggs. Drop some snippets even. So when you finally return, you're dropping the most inspired music because you've built up that anticipation, and most importantly, you've given yourself enough time to truly think out, plan your music, and come back with that chip on your shoulder. Like, as a fan of Drake, I'm not hearing a chip on your shoulder, bro. You just got beat down. The next time Errol Spence hops in the ring, he better knock somebody out. You got a reputation to uphold, bro. You need to be dropping impactful music, but allow it to simmer. Allow people to actually miss you. You don't have to respond to everything. You didn't have to respond to LeBron singing to Not Like Us. You saw him at the concert. You knew he liked the song. You didn't expect him to. Let's keep it real. LeBron is a bandwagon, bruh. LeBron used to be a Cowboy fan, believe it or not, and y'all didn't know.
With that said, I know we got a lot of Cowboy fans in America. I'm not one of them. I'm going with the Niners.
So the thing is, you know, like LeBron is gonna be fickle. He's gonna be going with whatever the new drop is. You see him, he's singing on his story. You don't even know the words yet. You don't have to respond to everything. Let all that simmer. What does he think about what LeBron was saying? We don't know because we didn't get nothing from him. Like, that has power. There is something to be said about taking a moment to let things breathe, is what I'm trying to say. Taking a moment to reflect. And sometimes the most powerful way to change the narrative is creating that space, letting things settle down, and coming back with something that resonates on a deeper level. That's what he should have did. That redemption arc where he has a chip on his shoulder and he can be the villain in rap, whatever. Like, that whole fantasy is completely gone. Like, he's more into the whirlwind of drops and throwing things at the wall, seeing what sticks, keeping that chaos alive instead of embracing the silence that could catapult him to new heights in his career. I'm not gonna sit here and act like he gonna turn into Meek Mill. At the end of the day, Drake is a huge artist, but he certainly missed the mark with whatever the hell he's doing now. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and check me out on the next one. I'm out.
And they found you amusing for a while, the people of this city. But the one thing they love more than a hero is to see a hero fail, fall, die trying. In spite of everything you've done for them, eventually they will hate you. Why bother?